Here.
Because there's people in here.
You're gonna have this, but then you're gonna hand it to him?
You don't think it's
Okay.
hot?
Cause this needs to be signed, but this is.
I
one
usually
of
think it's
you guys
cold.
will have here.
Okay.
I think it's finally comfortable in here.
Yeah.
I'm
And this,
comfortable. I'm not cold.
Yeah.
This is your new
I'm gonna
report
have a
in the new
sweater.
system that I wrote back here. Adjustments.
Okay.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Great. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Oh.
You know, like Casey might, oh, I have your
You're still
stuff.
gonna have to help me.
Oh, that's fine.
Hey, Princess, I'm gonna like study and have it all down.
You can do it however you want, like at the end of the
You
day.
don't have to, okay.
I mean, as long as
When I logged
you
into
call
the
it to
Night
order,
Center, it kicked me out twice.
do your motions
Okay.
first, second, and all that, like,
Okay.
it's realistically, that's,
Okay.
as long as you get down that,
Connecting and
Okay,
reconnecting.
I don't have to
just
do it
connect
exactly
it.
the way that you
Yeah.
wish I did it if I'm off just a little bit.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's still working.
I mean, to be honest, we don't follow Robert's, we say we kinda follow Robert's rules, but we
You
don't.
don't, okay.
Yeah.
Well, one thing we need to start doing, sewer board is asking for a no. We all say aye and then there's nothing.
Yeah.
You need to say,
Yeah.
give an opportunity for people to say no. It's the
Yeah.
late fee.
I'll let you, lead on that, Mrs.
It's like
Weiser.
3 days.
But you can do it a couple different ways, you can go, you know, yays and nays, or you can just say yays, and then you
Yeah.
instruct the clerk to record it as all members present
Yeah.
stated yay. And then,
But I'll let you bring that up.
yeah,
That's it.
I don't think that I'm gonna bring anything up next meeting from what happened last meeting.
I think I mediate it well.
I don't think, I'm
I
fine
got
with
a
it.
nice text, so I must have.
Well, I didn't get a
Forgot to
nice
do-
text, so
I think he's okay.
I,
Got to bring information for Sarah.
No, I know, but I think
For
it
what?
came out fine. I
because
think
I
he,
didn't do anything wrong.
you didn't.
New hire.
You did, but
I
I
couldn't
think
understand
I
what you were
explained
saying,
it to him
sorry.
well enough to, yeah. That
I
he's
need
good, is all I'm
something
gonna
that's
say.
Fit in
I'll
my
have
face.
to read to you the, I think we're fine.
I don't know. You know.
I think what you said needs to be said,
Ew.
but I think he was
Taking shots.
misunderstanding part of it. Okay.
I can't eat much because of my tooth hole anyway.
You get it fixed, dude.
I go the 15th. They can't see me until then. In the meantime, I get prednisone and steroids. Ew.
This one's got paper, this is candy cane flavor.
Is it draft?
Yeah, it's got paper.
Okay.
State and local gas.
Giving me pocket mints.
Here,
It's like my grandma. Right off the dust.
no, that isn't, the paper's in here. Oh, here's another piece. Here, this one's got paper. It's candy cane flavor.
Hey, why we pay Jimmy Barber?
We give him his refund back on his water, cause he moved.
Oh, that Jimmy
He
Barber.
made it out like, you know, he knew that, like he misunderstood.
Did he got him another house? I know he was trying.
He built a trailer over and
He built one over
put a
there.
modular on over there. Remember the little shed just in front?
Yeah.
That's where
I
he
know
put
you
it.
tore
Okay,
that
so
down.
I think he's
Yeah,
good.
he put it right there.
I haven't been down through Thurston in a while.
I don't.
Thank you, Penny.
I'm just saying, I think it came out the way that he wanted it to. It wasn't.
Ooh, it's cotton candy.
But I think.
Yeah, that's why I said it's cotton candy flavor.
That's interesting.
I mean, but he's.
I'm thinking it's too big and I can't stick it in my teeth without hurting
So
my.
I think you needed to.
Can you break it?
Don't
Oh,
get-
that
No,
thing?
the puffer
Oh.
ones.
I think he took it offensive, maybe because it's a.
We're live.
Well, I think we're waiting on Jason.
You know, but now I feel like he's not that way at all. Like, I think he
We got
had
video.
time to,
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
yeah.
Yeah, you're on video,
Well,
Bob.
person.
No more cookies, you're on video.
I haven't eaten one.
I'm
Won't
just
do
saying.
that.
Go for it, babe. This is Buddha name, Casey.
I'm sorry.
My internet keeps jumping in and out.
Mine was doing that earlier here, I had to reboot my computer.
Okay, so explain to me the new report. I'm sorry. Actually, I probably should start the meeting.
I guess I'm gonna get my stuff.
I am gonna need a little direction on this, yes.
Penny. Michelle was talking to you about.
Oh, okay.
Before I start the meeting.
That is
Yeah, why-
adjustments
But,
we did in the water system.
but why did we change it, I guess, is my,
We got a
That's
new
the new
system.
billing
The new
system.
billing.
Oh, so
program.
that's,
Yeah.
oh, okay,
Yeah.
just with that. I knew we were getting it, I didn't know we got it.
Yeah,
It's
and
done.
Okay, okay.
Yeah, the other one's officially dead.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so,
Literally.
Literally.
and the thing's on?
Yeah.
Everything's ready to go.
Yep, video
Okay.
and,
We'll call the finance meeting, on February 8th, 2024, at 6:34. We'll call to order, roll call,
Michelle Dumas,
here.
Bob Pingorn,
Here.
Corey Harrier.
Here. And then approval of the, minutes. Has everybody had a chance to read them?
I'll make a motion.
I'll second it.
Okay, everybody agree, say aye?
Aye.
Sorry.
Aye.
Okay.
the only thing that you're gonna have to change, Penny, is Michelle needs to sign that, cause she was here last month.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
You have to change the,
Sam,
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
On the minutes?
Yeah.
Okay.
And we'll look at everybody's, have time to look at the cash journal and the summary and the ledger. We'll pass around the NSF checks and payment listing. Doesn't look like there was any NSF checks this month.
no,
So on Ohio Bureau of Workman's Comp, it says tuna?
yeah, I had a tune-up, we do a tune-up at the beginning of the year, we have to give them our payroll for the prior year, and then we have to pay the difference of what I paid to what our premium should be.
Okay,
So it was like $520 or something like that, I think additional is what I had to pay.
okay.
And then our normal payment will be the $124. I believe is what it is. Oh, it's $120.44.
And then this Fairfield County Recorder, I think, is new, and it says police fired. Is it just where we're starting to
Yes.
do something for the?
No.
Oh,
Well, the Fairfield County Recorders where we had to do that,
You had a file, we had to, file for the cemetery, is that the one?
no, for Audie Park.
Audie Park, yeah. So where we're doing the build, so we had to file the, right-of-ways and things like that, and that was a recorder's fee for that.
Okay. so
And then the police is actually for Perry Mason.
Oh.
I contracted him to, and that's half of his payment, right?
Yes.
To build a room that we need for the, one of the systems that the police department needs. It needs to be behind two locked doors.
Okay, yeah, and I think the chief brought that up last time. It was just kinda midway up, so
Yeah.
I was thinking.
No, when I saw that too, I was trying to figure out,
Yeah. And then it looks like we must have ordered meters.
Yep.
yeah, and just for awareness, and Casey will probably bring this up, but like meters are starting to go out a little bit quicker than what we anticipated.
Okay.
Again, we know like they're all past their life, but
Okay.
And you'll see the Government Accounting Solutions, that's our new billing system. That was our payment for that.
That was one that I remembered.
What's EFTPS? Oh, that's the payment system, sorry.
get
just
electronic
said it.
payment
My bad.
transfer. So it's electronic payment. and then we're also submitting, a reimbursement request to the county for the water towers. Remember, we
Okay.
took out the loan, for $456,000. And the goal is, and we'll talk about it at council, we'll bring that in, and we're gonna go ahead and invest that into a CD.
Okay.
Bremen Bank has offered us 5 months versus 6 months, still at the 5%. And then that right there will get us a month before the actual loan matures,
Okay.
and we'll be able to get that interest off of it, which will be about $20,000, I think.
Okay, great.
So yeah, we're playing the numbers game with the CD rates right now.
Yeah, that's great.
So in the minutes, Jimmy, just to mark your name out and put Michelle's down there for now? Or
Yeah.
do you want, okay,
Yeah, however you guys need to do it.
thank you. Junk everywhere.
Yeah, so has everybody had a chance to look through all the?
Yep.
Okay. Any, old business? New business,
Sorry, do you need to make a motion and approve the reports?
oh, yeah, sorry, thanks.
That's all right, I'm just checking.
Do we have a motion to approve the reports?
I'll make the motion.
I'll say.
Everybody saying?
Aye.
Okay, sorry, so old business? Any new business? So the new business, that we have is Penny, gave me it's a supplemental appropriations to be approved, we'll approve it during the council meeting, but it's for the street fund, for $10,350, and it's for repairs and maintenance.
It's for the heaters, it's for our 3 heaters,
So, and we'll
in the shop here, I guess I should
we'll look
say.
at that during council and pass it around for signature. So, no one else has anything else, we'll adjourn.
No, wait, you gotta do your POs, but you
Oh.
can sign them.
Yeah, I was
At the
gonna
end.
sign them afterwards.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, yeah, we'll
We-
sign these afterwards.
You need a motion to adjourn.
Yeah, do we have a motion to adjourn?
Bob, say aye, say aye.
I'll second it. Okay.
It's like there's any other people that
We'll
do it.
adjourn at,
Who seconded it, Corey or Michelle?
Corey.
Corey did.
Corey did,
we'll adjourn at 6:42.
6:42, thank you.
Sorry, I'm not very good at this.
You're fine, we'll get you there.
Yeah.
You're doing great,
At some point.
you're doing great.
Please, Chair, Madam
I
President.
told Jason I've been pretty lazy all these years. I just let him, that's the one thing I don't pay attention to.
You're doing good.
Yeah.
You're talking to somebody that has to have a script when she has to present at work, so.
I said the main thing is to get it typed up correctly, and Sam has all the proper motions to be able to type it, so
Yeah.
she'll keep us in line.
That's
Yeah.
it. Don't be offended if I ask like I
I'm
did,
not
because
offended.
I really am not trying to be like,
Change
you
this next
do
month.
this, but I have it in front of me, like,
No, you help me all you want.
I
to do
appreciate this.
I need to probably swear you in tonight too, because our next council meeting
Yep.
may be after my first mayor's court. Yeah. So I need to swear you in tonight.
huh,
Swear you in as what?
huh.
Keep your house out.
chief.
I got some work for that.
We will just go through we'll print up your certificate later, but I'll just swear you in.
Okay, you're good.
When I go to do,
I can make you one up, or, well, I can't print it.
no, you're fine, like, cause it's just us signing it, or Penny signing it, me
Okay.
signing it.
I'll probably cry, I'm just warning you, I mean, I am on prednisone and, well, kind of a hot mess.
Maybe, we might have a new council.
So can I cry?
No, you know my rule on crying,
He doesn't know what to do when
Well,
I.
did we?
yeah, you're not allowed to cry. I mean, you're allowed to cry, but like, you know,
I can't help it, sorry.
Apparently, I can never.
Nick, you sent me an invitation to edit it, I open it and it says you have to ask for approval.
I just,
You just approved me?
yeah, I don't know,
That's so weird.
if you, yeah, I don't know.
Or maybe it's because
So,
it's my
my sister
personal
went out
Gmail, since you're using
Okay.
Google Docs.
Took my mom.
Maybe it's
I ain't
because
to
it's
the
under my
doctor.
personal,
Okay.
They live together, my sister lives with them too.
Oh, okay.
Take them to the doctor.
because it won't open under my
She said that,
village email,
They had, they got.
like I actually have to go
doctor's
into my,
office, And
my
they had a
which is
foot
fine, I
doctor
don't care.
appointment right around the corner.
It's
Yeah,
probably,
Mom said, you go
Google is
get the
weird.
car.
I don't know.
So she goes and gets the
It's
car,
probably
she
my
comes back,
station.
both of them are laying in the
Where's
commercial.
gonna send me your,
The tripped over each other or something.
Okay.
Mom hit her head, lived her on her ass.
So we
She
don't
had
have
to
to
take
keep
her to
going
the
back and
hospital.
forth.
So
This is your
council doesn't
wife
vote on
doing
any of
this?
that.
No.
I just
Okay.
appointed someone to go to our next meeting.
Her sister
I
and my sister.
Oh, so the next day,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
So your
You
sister
will-
had to take your mom
Well,
and
so
your
coming
sister to
back?
the hospital?
Yeah.
Oh, Jesus.
So I talked to Mom a while ago, she just got back. She's like, my head's all loopy. I said, what did they give you? Oxycontin? I said, well, that's why. Ain't cause you fell on it.
That's funny. Oh, Jesus, Bob. That sounds like me and Dad.
Only you guys.
Sounds like us and Dad.
Oh, okay.
No, it's still recording, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Right, so behave.
I don't think,
That sounds like me and Dad. Dad went to go to up and have that MRI yesterday. We get up there. I made sure they put the leg things on so he doesn't,
Yeah.
and his legs are heavy.
yeah, and I just had
He
to
has,
start
he
a
has what I call heavy
certification.
leg syndrome. Is that the wrong?
Drew had to go to certification, you don't wanna do it, and how hard it is to study.
He's got it.
But you have to pass it, cause if you don't, you have to pay back $2,000 to get you to
Jesus,
take a
lots of-
class.
Guess what the first thing
So,
I said
I've
is,
been in school
you gotta take all
forever.
your
How
clothes
come I
off.
have to be sworn in?
Because you're-
Is it
I-
elected?
No, I'm appointing you.
But I wasn't sworn into this job.
As I said, okay.
You're
He
hired,
says, "Can you
you're
take my
hired
clothes?" I said,
for this job.
If I need help.
Like
I
Penny's
will stick
appointed,
my
when
head
I
up.
appointed her as fiscal officer. Certain
I
positions
got
are
you.
appointed,
I
some
got
of them
you.
are just
I was
hired.
hired in.
Okay, so they
Gotcha.
give us this, so I.
So,
I wasn't
Shoes on,
distinguishing
I
between
take
the two.
socks on.
yeah, so basically, if it's
Okay,
defined
let's
in
stand
Ohio
up.
Revised Code as a certain
Hands up.
type of position that's needed for X, then it's an appointment that needs, you need to be sworn in.
And we'll pull your
Gotcha.
pants up. Well, then he decides he wants
Mr.
to
Riddle!
change
Well, I
the
didn't
shirt.
wanna do
So we
that.
changed the shirt halfway in between,
Fabulous.
cause he forgets like where he's at in it.
Yeah.
And then he gets like
Sunshiny
excited
day.
and forgets everything, and we were laughing because it was just like, oh, Lord.
Nope.
If I'd had a camera, we'd have been
I
like,
I
crying already in
couldn't
there
handle the
trying to,
sunshine.
that Benny Hill music.
But I'll take it.
It was just like, but yeah, so, and then I had, once he come back out, I had to dress him.
Oh my God.
So he, and to get him in the wheelchair, cause they had to,
What's up, Bill?
hey, they had to put him in a special wheelchair that doesn't have metal. It's
Bright?
made of
Yeah,
glass.
right.
So we had to.
That
so
keeps
two
everyone
of
from
us
napping.
stand him up. The third one grabs his
It was nice
wheelchair out,
today.
gets the other one,
Sunny and
brings
warm.
it in, we sit him down, like. So
How you doing,
then
Bill?
they take off with him, and two of them go,
Good.
and I'm like, that's like, they give me a one blanket, and I fell asleep. I'm like, oh, that's the way to go.
Get that comfortable.
Yeah.
The charger looks good, I saw it coming around the corner.
Did you slow down?
Yeah, I don't speed through town, I know better. Too many kids will dart out in the street. I'm
Hey Jason,
just
did you
slow,
tell me
so-
last month that that certificate that comes in the mail,
Sam needs a copy of
I'll bring it over to you tomorrow.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's yours to keep, but we just gotta keep it on file.
Alright.
Oh, look, there's a picture of it.
It's funny stuff. And then we were the bus up there and then the bus back, so that was even funnier.
Did you give Chief Garver the message from Millersport Police Department?
No, I left it over there. I told you I wasn't bringing
that's right.
anything over because he had to come to me.
Yeah.
It would get lost.
Yeah.
But I will tell him when he comes back
Okay.
that he has a message. And Penny needs a signature, but he has to come to us.
Okay. Well, I know in the signature he does, but
Yeah, I figured if I brought it over tonight, it would just get lost in the
That's fine.
shuffle and thrown in a box or something. That's all. I will have- This needs to be Michelle.
I think I'm going tomorrow morning to the courthouse, yeah, to the B and B Jason,
Mhm.
to get the title done.
okay,
And to pick up the printer also, that way that's all done.
okay.
But we'll see how I feel in the morning, so. I might pick it up and, might do it this weekend,
What, the printer?
and everything, and the title.
Are they holding the printer for you?
We didn't call it.
We didn't
tomorrow.
call.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say, cause I I have a medical procedure at the hospital on the hill tomorrow morning at 7:30, so after I'm done, I can go down
Oh,
if you don't make it in, so.
We didn't even buy it or anything, I just printed
Okay.
out a piece of paper that with what
Okay.
you wanted on it.
All right.
I just have this.
Yeah, I just
Okay,
paid for
well,
that and
then
said,
you can just pick it up then,
Okay,
and then
I
if
said to
not,
buy it.
you know, because we don't need it tomorrow.
No.
right. I was just trying to make one swoop of,
Yeah.
This is good.
No, it's not too far away.
yeah,
Hmm.
that's cheap.
That is Bremen's bucket truck that we use,
Yeah.
and the transmission blew up while we were using it.
Yeah, it can.
Well, I know, it's gonna come out of his paycheck, he just doesn't know it.
Okay.
He don't care, whatever.
It says right on here, truck ran nearly a mile after line blew.
It's a driver issue.
That's what I was thinking.
Hey, if Bob's not on your side, you're done.
But in my defense, I think I went further than a mile, so. It kept rolling, I did. Wasn't until I stopped that I realized I had nothing.
Did you say it was a brake line?
Transmission.
Okay.
Transmission line, it's next to the police station.
Yeah,
We're
um,
almost done, we need to go look.
So we
I need to get
borrow
stuff out of
Bremen's
that.
bucket truck, and we actually use it a lot. We use it more than Bremen does, to be honest.
Yeah,
Um,
he says, look on his.
and, I mean, it's an older truck, but the transmission line busted and it needed a new transmission, so,
It's almost
us
done.
and the Village of Bremen talked and we would just split the cost. I mean, because essentially we both use it
Well, yeah.
and,
This saves a lot of time. When we
Yeah.
do the Christmas decorations
Yeah.
and put the flags up and stuff like that, it's.
That's helpful, it was him.
Jason, do still work.
Excuse me.
yeah, back in the refrigerator in the kitchen. It's the far cooler.
Is it a big deal if there's a misspelling on here? Should I just
On
hand
what?
write on? Like it's training for the police, but it's PR, it's just spelled wrong, is it?
Did I spell
In the
something
minutes?
wrong?
Yeah, I'm still signing in the POs.
Oh, I spelled it
It
wrong?
takes me forever.
Oh, was it?
Should-
No,
should
you're
I put
fine.
a line, leave it, like,
You
it's a
can,
big
you
deal?
can change it.
Okay.
I don't know
I
that it
just didn't know
matters,
if it was a
but,
big deal or not.
no.
Do you want a cookie?
We're finding it.
I'll have some.
The sugar will help you
If
sign
you have
fast.
one.
I do.
Actually, he
No, I
has,
really don't want one. I just started a diet, actually. I'm trying to
These
get
are
off this
diet
stuff.
cookies.
They're
took
diet
all of it out.
cookies.
They're diet cookies?
They're like wafers in the center,
Then they
some of those
probably
like
don't
the errors
taste very
free.
good.
They taste very good.
Really?
You're welcome.
Oh, here's another
Don't
one. Here's
read that.
another one.
So
Should I
there's
get
so-
another cookie?
there's soda in there. I don't know what's left in
I
there.
found
but-
another error. Do you want another
You
cookie?
can have two cookies.
See, okay, so like Penny's having hot issues, so what can I say?
I'm not complaining. I'm just teasing him because I'm like, the
Three
first,
cookies
the
only
first
150
question was really
calories.
like,
Yeah.
is it gonna matter?
Yeah.
It's like an auditor.
I
That's
think
pretty
I
dumb.
I think
made
it slowly works its way down,
You
because I
can
pointed up
definitely
every
tell
time I
the
sit down
beans,
there.
but-
Have you eaten?
Huh?
Have you eaten?
We went
So
there
I got
today, that's
six,
good
so it
stuff.
should be-
Okay. We just passed
But
it
it does,
today and I
seems
think
like
it's like.
Yeah, it slowly drips down, blows right down the back of my neck.
Dang it.
Really
What?
good, and
I
they
said,
don't
you
want
just
it.
went out and
I got a
it.
margarita and I took these, I went,
It's blowing over here.
Are you hot?
strong.
You
It
wanna turn
says-
it off?
I'm burning out. But listen though, I can take this off and have
I
a
said,
thing on.
and Jason said it
Problem
is
solved.
really strong.
I'm burning
It's
out.
not normal.
But Corey's not.
It's okay, I'll be fine. I got
You
a
sure?
shirt.
I can take, I got a tank
Believe
top
it or
on.
not,
I
I'm
can take
wearing
it
a t-shirt and I'm hot too, so I
off. Are you?
think this room is,
Yeah, it's toasty.
I feel like it is a little warm.
I'll say, Tony said it's
It's cause you got your house is too warm.
Just
Then
say
you come
only
into
said
the
it's 78.
several times.
70,
Oh,
70.
I thought you said it was only set at 78.
I'm
I was
comfortable,
just-
so it's probably hot in here.
You always freezing, are you?
Yes, and I have two long sleeve shirts on. That's how her and I judge. She's always hot, I'm always freezing, so if I'm comfortable,
I'm normally
It's hot in
cold and
here.
I'm actually hot, so.
I'm
Yeah.
never cold.
yeah.
I shouldn't say never, but if I tell Penny I'm cold, then there's a problem.
Yeah, normally I have to have a sweater or a sweatshirt or something, so. But it might be the temperature outside changing, I haven't adjusted to it yet.
Is Chief coming back?
Yeah, he was.
He's just standing right out front.
He's doing what?
He was just standing right out front, pulled in.
He probably had a phone call.
Hey, how are you? Good. Good. If you would just sign on the sheet and then go ahead and speak. Okay. Thank you, ma'am. Tree removal.
Did you have Jody sign the sheet?
Yeah, I need had her sign it.
Okay. Dennis Tyler, think I can put that car in my name? I drive a cop car.
We
When
got
I
an
hear those
issue when
ones
you
are
pull out
fast.
that, it says police on the side of it,
I
might
might
be
turn
an
this,
issue.
I just wanna turn the sirens on and go like heck.
And Isaac
Just
has
once.
actually drove the Highway State Patrol ones, and it's the last thing ones that they gave or whatever.
Uh-huh. This has the
It would be
V8.
fun to drive, yeah.
I know, it has
He
a
said-
V8 in it.
But it was definitely, it's definitely different than the other police cars.
I was in the city when somebody tried to steal a medic one time.
Yeah.
You wanna know why it didn't work?
Why?
She didn't know how to work the air brakes.
Oh, that's funny.
It was pretty funny.
How's my girl doing?
She's doing better,
Is she?
slowly but surely.
Good.
Probably
Did she
should
back
read
to
that
school
before I
yet or
sign
no?
it.
She is back to school.
Yeah.
Her appetite isn't 100% yet.
Don't.
Okay.
So,
Well, I will say.
I'm just hoping.
It takes a long time. to
I
get
like
that
didn't
stuff
win
out
the
there.
last two.
I only dealt with it for like 2 weeks.
So it's like, she got the stomach virus.
Or-
And then.
Did you change my spelling?
And everything.
Came back to
Yeah, I
school
changed them both.
Okay.
Monday.
I knew what they meant. It was
And
more like
then
technical, like I know what on it, we always
Tuesday-
have to be careful, so
Well,
I
see-
was like, is it gonna be a big deal?
One of her
No.
best friends.
Well, but I'd rather
went
be
home
right.
sick,
Right.
102 degree
Yeah.
temperature.
Oh my god.
And what it is I just type real
Now
quick,
her stomach
Yeah.
and then I
Oh,
go,
yeah,
coming
I
back.
do the
just
stuff,
go.
exact same thing at work all the
I
time.
hope she didn't.
I have
like
to
what they-
re-edit everything, so.
Right? It's like, please, no.
Yeah, I'm like, and we have my
So, refund
nephew's
cleaning
fourth
deposit
birthday
pool.
party this weekend. And then
Who was that
by going
refunded to?
there,
Refund
we'll be
cleaning
around the
pool.
newborns,
Refund cleaning
because my
deposit.
sister had twins.
Right.
it's for the pool, so any,
And they're
well,
not
and
even a
the
month
pool
old
actually
yet.
is gonna be not open this
So.
year, but anytime somebody rents the
they
pool,
are-
So you
they
don't
have to
wanna
pay a
share the
cleaning
germs and
deposit.
you don't wanna get the germs.
That's what we,
from
I would
each
use
other.
to
So
pay them their
They're
50 bucks
3
back.
weeks old today.
Got it.
How old?
3 weeks old today.
Oh my gosh.
I didn't know they had to pay a cleaning deposit. How much,
Yes.
they
We,
paid $50?
we
$50.
did, and then we kinda quit, but then we would have people that would have a party, and then
It's
just
not for
leave.
the pool, it's for the area. It's
Yes.
for the pool and surrounding
Yes,
area.
like,
Got it.
yes, around the table
Yeah,
stuff, they
so
left all
fingers
their stuff
crossed she
around,
can
so.
finally knock
In my
this
head, when I
dog
saw
out.
the amount, I was
But
like,
she's still on amoxicillin, so
Where we
full
get-
day.
That's a lot of pool refund, right?
well, if you had to
It'll
clean the pool though.
Whatever
Oh,
else.
okay, yeah, no, that ain't right.
Writing.
Yeah.
It's like to clean for a pool party, like the
Fingers
kids. are-
crossed. I
Like
got
the
you, fingers crossed.
Tables and garbage.
Yes,
I was thinking about her.
yes.
I will have to
Tell her, tell her Miss Damon said hi.
I will.
I can see in her face.
That,
You never
that will make
know.
her happy.
Right?
Then she'll be like, "Can we go to her
Hey, you know where I can
office?"
get a little refrigerator?
I just told Penny the other day.
I just need a little refrigerator.
You know those candy bars or cleans or
Well,
something?
I am, but
Okay,
I
well,
see one of
Corey had a whole bunch of them left over.
Please.
Okay.
Well, she gave them to
I
us,
need
so
one
they've been
for
sitting in the
my
office. Well,
Kaylee was good nuts.
the extra candy bars,
Oh yeah, they had to go away.
yeah, well,
Or
they
just
went in my
under
daughter's
there.
belly. So every day Evelyn would come in after I pick them up from school and she, can I have a candy bar? And I'm like, fine. So she got up in there and today and was like, there's like one candy bar left. And I was like, cause you freaking ate them all.
Good thing you didn't have to pay for those.
She's like, we have no more chocolate. So I just told Penny we're gonna have to get some kisses. So Miss Kaylee will be excited to have
Oh,
some,
my
some
goodness.
chocolate.
So they have a new thing called, it's a peanut butter cup that has caramel in it. Have you seen those?
No, that would be good.
Are they yummy?
Yeah.
Sounds dangerous.
I haven't seen them around here. I bought them on, I'm an Amazon girl. I don't like to shop, so I have everything delivered to my house.
I don't blame you.
I'm not interested in.
Although I do like getting my Target fix every now and then.
I like it. I'm a Home Goods TJ Maxx girl sometimes, but it's by myself. Once I get there, I'm like, I'm over this. Like I like certain things for certain places. Like I
Yeah.
buy bed linens from Target, and I'll go to TJ Maxx and get candles, that kind of stuff. But when I go, I get like 6 candles, so I don't have to go back for a while.
That's cool.
PWC.
That's funny.
I'm all sticky now. I broke that candy cane open and all the pieces are, I'm almost sticky.
Okay, there, use the thing.
What's on more?
Oh.
That stuff is sticky too.
I don't have.
Okay, It'll be fine.
All right,
Very good.
you almost ready, Sam?
Whenever you are.
Hey, I'm gonna apologize in advance. I'm getting over something. If I dart, it's just because I don't want to cough all over everything. So I apologize in advance for that. What's that?
Your neighbors will
Yeah,
appreciate it.
yeah. Well, and sometimes it's that, like, you don't want to hear someone cough. It's that type of cough. All right. All right, we'll call this meeting to order. Today is February 8th, 2024 at 7 PM. Can we all stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, please? You got it?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call.
Mayor Anderson,
Present.
President Dumont,
Here.
Councilman Mason,
Here.
Councilman Payhorn,
Here.
Councilwoman Harrier,
Here.
Councilman Coleman.
Here. All right, we have a couple appointments and swearing in to do tonight. We had a vacated council seat in September of 2023. It left, it's been open ever since. Per Ohio Revised Code, council has 30 days to fill that. After that, it's by appointment of the mayor. We had 2 applicants, and I am appointing Sarah Wharton to the seat of council member. I do need a confirmation from council. So do I hear a motion to accept?
I'll make a motion.
Corey?
Let them.
Okay, Corey made the motion, Bill second, roll
Wait,
call.
Corey made the motion?
Yep.
And Bill second?
Yep.
Sorry. Bill second. Sorry. President Dumont,
Yes.
Councilman Mason,
Yes.
Councilman Payhorn,
Yes.
Councilwoman Harrier,
Yes.
Councilman Coleman.
Yes.
Okay, I'll do the swearing ins at the same time. Because of mayor's court, I also have to swear in a clerk of courts, for the position, to track the court, do the report to the Ohio Supreme Court, collect, bail bonds and all that. So I appoint Sam McCreary as the, mayor's clerk of courts. Do I hear a motion to approve?
I'll make a motion.
Michelle made the motion, second. Bill second, roll call.
Bill second. That's weird to make a roll call for myself, I'm just saying. President Dumont,
Yes.
Councilman Mason,
Yes.
Councilman Payhorn,
Yes.
Councilwoman Harrier,
Yes.
Councilman Coleman.
Yes.
Okay, so Sam, I will swear you in first. Whenever you get done typing, if you want to stand and raise your right hand. I, say your name,
I, Samantha McCrary,
do hereby solemnly swear
do hereby solemnly swear
or affirm
or affirm
that I shall support the Constitution of the United States
that I shall support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of Ohio,
and the Constitution of the State of Ohio,
and that I shall faithfully,
and that I shall faithfully,
honestly, and impartially
honestly, and impartially
discharge the duties
discharge the duties
as the clerk of courts
as the Clerk of Courts
for the Village of Pleasantville.
for the Village of Pleasantville.
Thank you. I would shake your hand, but like I'm not,
You're good.
you know,
High five, fist
since
bump.
I'm kind of coughing around.
Michelle's like
Yeah.
pulling her eyes.
All right, Sarah, if you don't mind standing and raising your right hand, repeat after me. I, Sarah Wharton,
I, Sarah Wharton,
do hereby solemnly swear,
do hereby solemnly swear
or affirm,
or affirm
that I shall support the Constitution
that I shall support the Constitution
of the United States
of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of Ohio,
and the Constitution of the State of Ohio,
and that I shall faithfully,
and that I shall faithfully,
honestly,
honestly,
and impartially
and impartially
discharge the duties
discharge the duties
of member of council
of member of council
for the Village of Pleasantville
for the Village of Pleasantville
for the term ending
for the term ending
December 31st,
December 31st,
2025.
2025.
Congratulations, you can take your seat. We'll notify the Board of Elections. They will then send you a certificate in the mail.
Okay.
Sam just needs a copy of the certificate,
Okay.
but the certificate's yours to keep. Okay,
You'll also have to come over to the office
Yeah.
at some point, and Penny will need your new hire paperwork done.
Okay.
Yep.
So driver's license, right, you need social security card?
Yes, please.
Yeah.
And then I'll give you your other paperwork, if you want direct deposit or want check, or,
Yep.
and then your tax paperwork.
Hey Sam, can I ask a question real quick? Did
Yes,
you
sir.
get my certificate? Cause I never received a certificate from the Board of Elections.
Yeah, they usually mail them to you,
They mail them to you.
yeah.
I believe you.
I thought you turned in a copy of that.
Did I?
I
Yeah.
feel like I have a copy.
Yeah.
Would you check and,
I will
Yeah.
check
check.
because
Yeah,
Check.
my memory on that
Are you
is
writing it down
it's a
too?
little foggy.
Please.
Cause I
Certificate.
have a lot of certificates floating around, so I'm not
Um,
sure.
oh, while we're speaking of that too, I have my mayor's court training certificates that you need copies of in my office.
Okay.
I was gonna bring those over today and forgot.
Jason, certificates.
We need to put some in your file, in your personnel file too.
Yeah,
Yeah, well, she has to keep, and I'll
Right.
get the magistrates too,
okay.
for mayor's court, cause you have to keep,
Okay.
tabs of when they expire and make sure we do our proper training and things like that to conduct court.
Kylie.
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 It's the one that's always been hearing our cases. She was hearing them in Baltimore.
Yeah,
She will just be here, but we're doing our court differently to where I'll actually hear contested, non-contested. Basically, you come in for your appearance. If you plead guilty or no contest, there's no decision to be made, and then I just issue the fine based on state law and statute. If you contest it, meaning you plead not guilty, then I turn it over to her and she actually has a trial.
but we'll have to do a personnel file for her.
Yeah. That way we're saving money, not paying her, to come every other week, and she don't have the time to take on another village full-time, or, 2 more times a month. All right, approval of the regular council meeting minutes from January 11th, 2024. Has everyone had a chance to review? Any questions? If not, do I hear a motion to approve? Bill made the motion,
I'll second.
second by Michelle. Roll call?
President Dumo?
Yes.
Councilman Mason?
Yes.
Councilman Pingor?
Yes.
Councilman Harrier?
Yes.
Councilman Coleman?
Yes.
And Councilman Wharton will abstain.
All right, next section is public input. Jody, do you have anything?
No.
No, okay, thanks for coming. Next, our council reports, so, finance will be, Michelle.
So, nothing new other than at the end of the meeting, Jason will pass pass around a resolution for us to decide on for supplemental appropriations for the street fund.
All right.
That's it.
Zoning property maintenance, Heather will be taking over that. We did have a building permit that we walked through together. We didn't deny it, but it wasn't properly filled out. So we went and talked to the homeowner, just gave it back, and they're just going to update what's needed, and then they'll resubmit it for Heather to review for approval. Just for awareness, because of the nature of it, it probably needs to have a variance, because the house is built actually on the property line, and when I say on the property line, there's not an inch. So in order for him to build, he actually has to trespass onto his neighbor's property. So we need to do a variance hearing for the neighbor to have their chance to speak if they choose to. But that will all go through zoning. And then, I believe Heather's starting to collect a list of different things, and she'll be issuing, violations, for different things. And so she has her work cut out on things like that before we even get to springtime. So, we look forward to that. Records, rule, and law, Councilman Harrier,
Nothing.
we have a project for you and your committee.
Yay.
Okay. I was gonna ask later that I need to sit down with whoever did it before, and
Yeah,
I need to figure it all out.
that's fine. Oh, and again, it's your job, your committee's job is essentially to,
Do the research.
if we need an ordinance for something, it should go through your committee,
Right.
as long as it's not for something that's in a different chamber, meaning a finance ordinance
Right.
or a zoning ordinance type thing. And this actual project fits right up the alley of it. So what we did is we took an inventory of all the ordinances that's been passed since Pleasantville's been created that we were aware of. With the introduction of a police department, we do have ordinances in there that are enforceable by a police officer. However, they're probably outdated, meaning rules at the state level has changed, and we never changed ours. Or like curfew, it probably needs updated because it hasn't been passed since 80-something.
I think.
86. Noise ordinances, it says that we actually measure by a decibel meter that's certified. Well, we don't own a decibel meter that's certified, nor do you kind of want to go down that route. So we need to just update those type things. And we're probably missing ordinances that we need for Nick and his team to do their job. So I think what we'll do is she will send over to you the list of all the titles of the ordinances, and then go through and figure out, like, what do we need to update? Because
Right.
some of these ordinances go back to the 50s and 60s, and it's basically saying, your neighbor, you, have a hole, and I don't want you on my property, so the town created an ordinance just between you and I.
Yeah,
We need to get rid of those.
right.
They just need to go away. So it's just looking at that stuff, and then when we get into the ones that we actually need, look at them, compare them to other villages or cities, see what that litmus test is of what's, how do we treat that today? And then create an ordinance, and the proper way to do that, unless it's an emergency action, is you prepare it, you guys approve it within there, then you bring it to council to present, then council does 3 readings, and that becomes law. So.
Right.
So that's kind of the goal there. The goal is also not to overburden you guys. Like, there's a lot to clean up, so just chunk it off however you want.
Right.
Okay. All right. Recreation Community Center and Pool, that's Nate.
I totally forgot, I apologize to give you your copies.
Yeah,
There are no rentals for the month of February in the community center,
okay.
and I don't think there are any for the month of March in the community center either. The shelter house won't open until the Easter egg hunt, which is March 23rd. So that will be the first thing in the shelter house, and that's when the shelter house officially quote opens.
Did I hear that, we're at the point now where we definitely won't be opening the pool this summer?
Yeah, that's what it sounds like.
Okay.
And I did want to bring that up just because we are going to put that out in our newsletter. After that, we'll also start socializing a little bit more during social media. And the reason why is because of the repairs that's needed and the grant work that needs to be, we're going to do an investment of, what is that, over $120-some thousand. And with the school being right there, you can't do construction in the school, like using jackhammers, because that interrupts a school day. Plus the additional traffic of heavy vehicles while there's children present, it's just not a good thing. So yeah, the pool, I'm just gonna say is not gonna open if we get construction done early enough, and we can open it up for some period of time, and it's feasible. I don't see why we can't do that. We will still license the pool this year, because if not, then if you miss a year on licensing, when you go to reapply, everything that we've been grandfathered in is no longer grandfathered in. So that means all those additional updates need to happen. So Penny will be applying for the permit, purchasing the permit. It'll just be I forget what they call it, but basically it just lays there type thing. It's just a stipulation they have. But yeah, and then we will also be reaching out to Baltimore, Bremen, and Thornville's pools, villages, and see what information they would like to share. That way we can share that on our social media. Again, there's all kinds of different things to do and activities, and try to, push people. If you still want a pool, there's more than Tiki. There's other villages that can use the support as well that are similar pools. So that's gonna be our way forward there. And hopefully we might be able to come up with some other kids' activities during the summer too. So if anyone has ideas of, like, the pool's not open, kids need something to do, whatever it does, it'll take volunteers, but I'm thinking about maybe even reaching out to some of the churches, see if they have anything that they wanna do in addition to what they already do. Just again, to keep kids occupied and keep something for them to do.
Have the lifeguards been told?
Yeah, I believe I informed Chris a month ago, I think, that this is probably what would happen. Because lifeguards were starting to ask, and some of them needed to do training, which is in March. And so I told her to tell them I would suggest not doing the training unless they were gonna work at a different pool. Because they're 2-year certificates, so half of them are up this year, the other half will be up next year.
Right.
Oh, and the other thing I didn't think about until now, because we usually host training in May with
He's been doing it at Baltimore.
Okay, I was gonna
Because
ask,
they're bigger.
yeah, okay,
So he's been, and he has his boards that he had bought off of us
Yeah.
and made. So he's been hosting it there.
okay. So we'll probably just wanna let him know that we won't be opening, make sure Baltimore does, allow
What's his
that.
name?
Dave Christie.
Yeah,
It might be feasible if, I don't know if Bremen or the other local pools struggle like we do for lifeguards, but when we're reaching out to ask them for information about their pool dates and stuff,
Mhm.
we might be able to say, hey, we're gonna have some lifeguards that have been working for us for 5 years,
Mhm.
that are looking for something with the summer, so we can
Yep.
sort of tell them about it, so we can take care of our kids that have been with us for a long time.
Bremen and Village and us have already talked about that. I have not talked to Thornville or Baltimore about that too, because, yeah, again, I know Bremen struggled last year with lifeguards.
Yeah, I mean, if we
Uh,
have lifeguards and they
Yeah.
wanna work, then let's,
Yeah, get them placed somewhere.
right, because we
Yep.
don't wanna lose them, because if we lose them off to the ether, then
Mhm.
when our pool reopens, we're gonna have a hard time getting,
Yeah, and we have a great team of guards, like, I can't say that
we
enough.
got
They,
good kids, so.
they do a great job. All right, safety and service, that'll be Bob, and you guys haven't had a meeting yet, so. All right, county board representatives, so that's Michelle for regional planning and board of health.
There's really nothing for either one of them. They did move the planning meeting back to 6 PM, so that'll help everyone.
Okay,
But not, and then the health board, there's not one until March, so.
okay. So just for advisement, because it is a county level type thing, I am head of the Fairfield County Mayor's Association. And what we plan to do is meet first time ever with the Fairfield County Township Organization. And we'll be doing that February 22nd. And we'll also be bringing in the county commissioners. And we'll be talking about planning and stuff like that for the village. So it kind of ties back to regional planning and things like that. I'm not sure if everyone's aware, but Fairfield County has been working for about a year and a half on like a growth plan for the county. If we grow, like, where do we want to grow? What do we want to look like? And again, it's just a plan. It's not a, if I say this property is going to be a super Walmart, doesn't mean that's really going to be a super Walmart. It's just like, hey, if someone wants to build one outside of Lancaster, where would it fit in what we have today or what tomorrow might look like? And so it'd be to come back after they've gotten all their public input from residents, townships and villages, and then kind of bring that back and discuss it one last time and say, that, you know, this is what our final product is. There's good and bad with it, and there's people for it and against it. But I personally think it's a great thing, because it's a plan. If you don't have a plan, then when growth comes, you're just at the mercy of the developer, so. And it fits right in line with the plan that we have for our growth too. So like for us, I think it was like it was an easy conversation, because what we project is what they were kind of projecting, so there was no surprises. All right, grant updates, you know, again, we have a lot of grants in works. They're kind of all in the same situation. We did get the final okay from state and county for the CDBG funding, which is $100,000 for the pool, and the NRG funding, which is $818,000 for the parks, street paving, storm line replacement, things like that. Those will probably go out for bid next month, and then after that, we can get a contractor on contract, and then start developing those different things out. OPWC 2022, that's the flood mitigation for Summit Street, where they're gonna go behind the houses on Second Street. We did get that finalized with Ed Ott on the right-of-way permissions, and the attorney's drafting it now. And that will probably bid out next month too, and we're hoping to just kind of bid all these out and manage them all at the same time, since they're all similar type jobs, is the goal there. So, you know, lots of improvements, you know, almost $3 million worth of improvements gonna be made this year, so it's a good thing. Applied for the OPWC, which I talked about. We won't hear about that until this fall, most likely. Usually July-ish is when the board gets together. Informally, we'll probably know in August, but formally we won't know until probably end of August, beginning of September. So, I did apply for a grant through Fairfield County Foundations for our festival, / parks, to update the electric down there. It got denied. However, I had a meeting with them today. They do 3 rounds. I'm gonna reapply for the second round. They gave me some pointers on how to word things and how to possibly get funding. Because again, their good job is to get you the money. It's just trying to, you know, make sure you're competitive with everyone else. And basically, how I failed was I showed the need for the festival, but the festival's only a 1-day event. So why would you invest lots of money for 1 day? And like we went over the grant board, and they're just like, you know, you guys are doing a lot in this village. So this really isn't a 1-day event. It's really to add to everything that you're doing. And then there's a possibility of, yeah, you're using it for the festival, but maybe there's a church that wants to do a barbecue down there that's open to the public. Well, this gives them electric for that, or they want to do bounce houses for their thing. Talk about things like that that's possible, missed opportunities type thing. So we're gonna reword that, have them look it over again, and then see how we do on round two. All right. Casey, you're up for maintenance.
Okay, let me start with, CCR is almost complete, you'll hear CCR a lot.
Since we got a lot of new people, can you explain what the CCR
Yeah,
is?
The CCR is the,
Consumer confidence report.
there you go, for the water plant. It basically gives us, like, it tells you what we've done at the water plant in a way, in testing, to give you better quality of water, and making sure that we're not, trying to hide anything from you as in the quality of water. So we're not Flint, Michigan. And the CCR, for example, the CCR report that's due in June is 2023, so it's always a year behind. We have all our tests from 2023, we've got everything back. We're actually ahead of the game, I've already got it created, me and Bob sit down and finished up what a little bit left I had left to do. And it is now ready to go to the EPA once the EPA says we're ready to go. The reason why I bring that up every year is, one, it's a pain in the butt. Two, it's, if we don't do it right, we get gigged. And three, it goes back to being just a pain in the butt, and it's a long and miserable process because of the great and wonderful laws that we do. So we had, 1 meter already replaced, but we've got 4 more to do. We're still working with people just to actually get in to do it. At the rate we're going right now, you can see there's 5 meters that went out that quick. Last month we had 3, or the prior month we had 3. So the meters are old and they are starting to fail, so that's why, we're going to the new meters. They have a longer life period, less. Same thing goes though, they will not speed up, they only slow down when they break. Actually, these won't even slow down, they will just literally stop. So, with that being said, it makes it a lot easier, because now if it doesn't work, it don't work. You just go in and replace it, no problem. But that also means we're gonna have to get more on order, so that'll be coming out soon. They should have already ordered some.
Yeah, there was.
Okay, we did a water repair on Second Street. Then we cleaned out some meters to make everything back operational back at the, water plant. After we cleaned the Second Street, we found that we still had a major leak, couldn't find it, finally found it in 100 North Main, the new building, or the rental building across the street that we just bought. So right now, as of now, the water is off in that building until we can figure out what we're gonna do. We did get the water plant's generator up and operational, and it is kicking on like it's supposed to, which is all good things, so we got that going. If you notice, the battery's been changed out in the water, or at the, stop sign out at the school, so it is flashing again. We wanna make note of that. The reason being is we got it in our notes, but also we go back in these notes and see when we did actually change it out, because they're supposed to be good for 1 year, up to 18 months. Yeah, it was less than, but anyway. We got all the potholes repaired throughout the village. We filled and drug the alleys. I think there's 1 alley we got left to do. Gravel, organized, and that. And that pretty much covers it, but what I also need to bring up of things of interest that we need to start looking at will be the cement blocks at the Grange. If you go to the ramps at the cement blocks, and especially you go down on the backside, you'll see they're drawing a lot of moisture, and they're actually crumbling. So we're gonna have to start looking at what we're gonna do there.
Like part of the building?
It's the handicap accessible ramp, so it's that addition, when they built
Yeah,
it, they
it's that
didn't do
addition.
proper caps, and the water's gotten down in there.
But it's also the blocks like further
Yep.
on down in are drawing moisture up from somewhere
Yeah.
else, and they're starting to rot. They're not, I can't say rot, but they're starting to like.
Crumble.
Crumble.
Yeah.
And also, all our metal doors, are pretty much rusting out at the bottom, so we need to start looking at that, replacement of the frames and doors. And when I say all of them, this is about the best one we have right here. And if you go out back, you'll see that it's starting to rust. Actually, that is the best one we got, as far as metal doors go. But just to give you a heads up, we're gonna have to start looking at that also. We have different plans already in effect, hopefully, different ways that we're gonna try to do it, but we still might have to come back. And that's all I got.
Okay. And just as a reminder, the water meter replacement, so every meter in every house in Pleasantville needs to be replaced. When they were replaced 12 years ago, 15 years ago, somewhere in that time frame, they only had a lifespan of 10. You know, we've exceeded that. The village was able to get a grant to do that back then. Today, it's not new technology, so there's no grant money available. They expect you to build it into your cost, which we have. The total project cost is about $175,000 to replace all the meters in this town. We'll be doing that over time. So again, as they break, we replace them, order more, and hopefully we just keep up with this cadence to where we don't have to buy $175,000 at once, which we don't anticipate that, but, buying 20 at a time, replacing 20, and just keeping up with that cadence. And that's one of the reasons why we had to do the extra increase on our water bills, water rates, other than the normal 3%, is just all these things are everything's costing more money, just like at home. So, and last year and I'll talk about that a little bit later, we kind of broke even on the water plant, and the water plant does need to be self-sustaining, meaning it needs to make a profit. Even though you're not allowed to make profit in government, you need to be able to have some type of money set aside for emergencies and repairs and things like that. So, all right. Thanks, Casey. Oh, and then one other thing to mention on that, you guys did try a new pavement material.
Oh, yes.
So normally we buy cold patch in bulk at the plant. The problem with that is when you first get it, if it's good cold patch, it's pliable for that first year. Like, it's really good. After it seasons over one winter, it's crumbly, so it's not as good. It's been out there for a while, but it's always been really expensive. But now it doesn't cost as much, I guess, compared to just buying it in bulk. But you can buy it by the bag and skids of it. And one, you can keep it indoors that way because everything's concealed and it's not making a mess. And it's pliable. Like, it does have a shelf life of a couple years. And we can order it in smaller quantities. And the good thing is most of our roads are not in bad shape because of all the different grant money, Jack had gotten, keeping up with all that. We do have potholes, but not serious potholes that are 6 inches deep, 12 feet wide, whatever the case may be. And as long as we stay on top of it, it's manageable. So we may actually start going over to a new product and not use bulk, unless it is a larger hole or something that it's cost prohibitive.
Yeah, because we got, when we were looking to do it, they offered us 2 bags to try it out.
Oh, that was
And that's what, we've actually patched the holes with what we could. We did have to go and get some of the older stuff because we needed a little bit more than 2 bags, but that's what we could. We're gonna actually watch it and see how it works out, just to make sure before we, but this is a much easier and workable product. So.
All right, thanks, Casey. Chief Garver?
Okay, so, the police station's about done, the office built out on the inside. Now, I don't know, was that during the committee meeting we talked about that, or was that?
Yeah, we talked about that a little bit last council meeting, I think.
Yeah, so we have to have a secure office behind 2 locked doors. That's a state and federal thing for law enforcement data. So like if I print off anybody's rap sheet or whatever, it's going into a file, that file's gotta be behind 2 locked doors. Same thing for the computer. There's an exception for that for the police cars, but they have built in like VPN and all this other digital security stuff for that. But the physical, that's why we had to do the extra office inside the office. So it looks like it's pretty much done. So, I think they got some museum pieces or whatever that, I guess, community service or something was gonna, so then after that gets done, when that's removed, then we can kind of move into that space. So, some stuff I forgot to put on the report, but we did get 3 radar units from Lipopolis Police Department. I went, took those, got them calibrated, they're all working. We were anticipating getting a second car from the state. That's probably not gonna happen, or at least not right now. The Bean Counters and the financial department said, no, I just got one, so, which is fine. I mean, so, and that car is out there, if you didn't see, it's on the front pad, but just got it back in the graphics shop. So whenever we got that car, we took it straight from the highway patrol to the graphics shop. It's lived down there until he got all the materials in, because some of it was back ordered. It's here now. We do have a little bit of work to do to it. They took out some parts and pieces. We actually ended up getting the wrong car. So they had a car set aside for us, and then titles and cars got rearranged. We got the wrong one. By the time we figured it out, we already had it wrapped. So switched the titles back. But because of that, I think it's a contributing factor. Like, we didn't have a spotlight handle, didn't have a siren controller, but it has like the siren speaker and the guts to it, but no control on it. So they're gonna try to help us and find something and get that to us. So it looks like a complete police car. It's not really functioning just yet. So, but it does have like the cage, and I mean, it's essentially done. It's just we gotta get the control panels and.
So that means Penny and I can still drive it, cause it's not functional yet, right?
I mean, what?
I mean, I'm just saying.
Yeah.
We just wanna turn the lights on
Well,
and
you
just
can't.
drive out of
That's
town a
what
little
I'm
bit.
There's no
hearing.
controller in it.
Just remember,
That's what I'm hearing.
we have 2 police cars.
We'll make sure you're out of town. We'll have somebody deter you on the other side of town. We'll go the opposite way and wee woo, wee woo.
And I've sat in the rear quite a few times.
And a
Yeah.
flashlight.
Still watching
Flash it out the
back.
window, woo, wee woo, wee woo.
The state being the state, you know, we just now got this, earlier this week, we got back certificates from the 2 gentlemen you swore in at the last meeting, so that, and within the badges actually just arrived for them today too, so it takes about a month to get the badges, not really 6 weeks like they advertise, so that's a plus, I suppose, but, so we're gonna start to get them out for training, since this will be their first cop job, so we'll have some field training with them. Not real
All they've been working for the garbage sites, doing an amazing job, you know, doing dispatch calls for us and all that good stuff, so they're.
Yeah, I think they're gonna be pretty good as long as we can keep them. You know, one already has a job offer from OSU
He
PD.
turned it down.
And they're gonna pay him 6 figures, I think. So I don't know why he turned it down. I'll have to have a little talk with him, but
Yeah.
anyway, I mean, he has other goals. He wants to get his college done and do this for experience at the same time, so. I'm sure the police jobs will still be there for him when he decides to reapply for different places, but nobody wants to be police anymore, it seems like, but. Patrols have begun. We've been trying to like have a little bit of a Facebook presence or whatever, and kind of like put little tidbits out here and there. We're not gonna broadcast everything we do, but, you know, just kind of let some things that are public knowledge or whatever we're putting out. Seems like the lion's share of it's positive. There's a couple naysayers, you know, that go, oh, you're just focusing on traffic or whatever. It's like, well, I mean, it's a small town, so that's all a big part of it, and all crime is mobile. So, you know, if somebody robs somebody, they're gonna be in a car, you know. But they don't, you know, can't really explain police philosophy to people that aren't interested in it, so I'm not gonna try on Facebook. We've done about 45 cases so far. Pretty much anything we do is a case. So if somebody, if they dispatch us to go check on something, they assign a case number to it. We're just gonna use the county's case numbers that they give us just because they think it's an action we took. We may as well have a reflecting record on our end. So somebody says, hey, you didn't go do that. Yes, you did, you know. So we have about 45 of those so far. I think about 40 of it's been traffic because we're trying to get people to stop at stop signs, which is an uphill battle. I wasn't even pointing at you, but
He meant my husband. Who rode through a stop sign.
yeah. Thankfully, I gave him a warning, right? The office is, you get my husband a ticket.
I would laugh, seriously.
Yep. We did finally get our tickets. That was a long time waiting for that, so now we can actually charge people. So the more egregious traffic people, we are, until mayor's court's open, we are sending to county court, municipal court. They've been pretty cool down there, so it's actually pretty easy dealing with them, which is unusual. But I've been down there several times to meet with them, and they're good to work with, so. So police canine, this is kind of like a out of the blue kind of thing. I own a German Shepherd, pretty, like 9 months old. And my wife was like, yeah, it's a shame she's, just sitting in her cage all day and whatever. I'm like, well, we could probably make use of her like at the company or whatever and stuff like that. So I talked to the mayor briefly about doing, if there'd be interest in a canine unit, because there is a shortage of canine units around, everywhere, generally. Like you'll hear the sheriff's office call for a canine unit, and then there's nobody on there that is a canine, and it's pretty common. So anyway, I'm gonna offer the use of my dog as a canine unit. I have a friend, former coworker, who's a sergeant in New Lexington Police Department. He's been a canine handler and instructor pretty much his whole life. And he owns a little side company doing canine training. He's also a state test practitioner, so he judges other people from their training. He can't do his own, but he can judge other people that have taken their dogs through training. So he's made a sweetheart deal for me and at the village if we do partake in it for the training costs. He's doing it for next to nothing. To give you an idea, most canine training, dog and training combination, you're looking at $18,500, $20,000.
40,000.
Okay, I don't know.
Yeah,
And
no,
that-
I've read into it, I love German Shepherds and Malinois, so yes.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, I have one, but yes, I follow that.
Yeah, so, anyway, canine units, are generally very well accepted by the communities that they're in, generally. If you get a bad dog, that's a bad deal, but, usually, there's a lot of community support for it. Usually, people are willing to donate to that kind of thing, grants are available, that sort of thing. This is kind of low cost. I already own the dog, that's the biggest expense. The training he's gonna offer to me for, probably shouldn't put it in the minutes, because he doesn't want to publicize, but $3,000 for the training, and that is narcotics. It's all the big narcotics. We're not doing marijuana. We're not even gonna train the dog on it because it's constitutional amendment and all that stuff. That's a dying enforcement drug, so we're not gonna bother with it. So just the heroin, the meth, the crack, cocaine, crack is derivative of cocaine, and then all the derivatives. So the bigger the hard stuff. And then also tracking. So like missing person, whatever else. And I've also started the training because I figure even if the town didn't want to do it, it's too good of a deal for me to pass up. I can utilize it at the fire department, I can utilize it at my company if we need to. Law enforcement would be the biggest use of it, I think. But she is amazing at tracking. She's tracked 3 times. It's like, he can't even believe it. So I just thought I'd give you a little bit of an update on that since
How do you say her name?
Denali, like the mountain or.
Okay.
Yeah. And then just to touch on it, a little bit, there's a lot of traffic that comes through this town, which I'm kind of surprised about being, its location or whatever. I'm not surrounded by farmland or whatever. You'd think there wouldn't be a lot. There's a bunch. While I was talking with some of the other, I guess you'd call them major crime squads and detectives from Licking, because I'm friends with a bunch of people, and they say that 188 is actually a drug corridor, and they intentionally come this way because there really isn't any law enforcement. You go out of Lancaster and you're pretty much home free, which is true. So they use that as a connector between the interstate and Lancaster, and even 37 to Newark, but they also intentionally use 188, because you're more likely to get stopped by a state patrol on 37. Baltimore's out that way, more chances to get caught. So I think it would be a good thing to have. And like I was telling the mayor, even if we never take the dog out of the car, the fact that you've got canine on the car, and social media being what it is, I think that's gonna tamp down some of the drug stuff. People are gonna be like, let's go to when they break down and do our operations there. So I just wanted to mention that, gauge feedback from you guys or whatever about that. The mayor seems to be on board. I'm on board because it's a police thing. It has value. It's not like it's a science, so it's a valuable tool for law enforcement, I would say. And if nothing else, it's also a deterrent. So I just wanted to see if there was any questions or whatever, and I'll try to answer them. I'm not an expert in it, but
I think it's amazing, when I was working in the ER, that if an canine officer came in, you could point a gun at someone and they would be like, what? But if that dog came around the corner, they'd sit down. It's amazing how a dog is more impactful than a gun in some cases.
Oh, no, yeah, I mean, there's a psychological thing behind it, you know,
So-
whatever. Initially, I'm not, looking at training it for what they call apprehension, which would be the bite work,
No,
you know, or whatever. Most patrol dogs are trained on that, and most of the time, the police officer will have a remote control to their door on their car, and they hit the button and spring the door open, and the dog will come to the aid of the officer if something happens.
What's the cost of that?
For the equipment,
And does the trainer think that he's, or she's trainable for that? Cause
Oh, for-
honestly, like, that's very useful.
oh, the apprehension, so that would be an
Yeah.
extra class, you know, so I'm gonna guess another, you know, my cost, because we're friends, and it's probably gonna be like $1,000, $2,000 or whatever for that extra. Basically, at the state level, whatever you train the dog in, they list on your certificate. And so if it's not listed, you can't do it. And the certificates are, it's a handler and canine combination. So meaning, I cannot lend my dog to another canine handler, they can't do anything, they're completely uncertified at that point. Even if they're a certified canine handler and the dog is trained, that combination is not allowed.
Yeah.
It has to be handler and canine together.
And
So,
then do you have an officer, like, I know when that training happens, there's typically an officer that cuffs. So the handler's controlling the dog, and there's an officer that actually gets trained to cuff. Do you have an officer that you'd be able to train for that too?
so part of, and this is all stuff I'm kind of learning, because I'm not like intimately familiar with all the legalities and case law and stuff on canine, but Bill is. And he said that a lot of times, you know, state test requires the canine to verbally heal or heed your commands.
Right.
And if it does not, it fails the test, and it's an annual test. And so, but there's some rubber stamping that might go on from time to time, and that's how some of the dogs that are lesser trained, lesser qualified get out there. But no, I would say generally speaking, it's probably gonna be one officer on duty. You know, if it's me,
I just know some departments, they actually don't release the dog until they've off the suspect. Like if they have to use the dog, they don't release the dog until the suspect's cuffed. Because then there's another flight, you know what I mean? Like that, I'm just asking a question.
no, well, so the dog is supposed to be, you know, if it is trained and state certified and everything's legit, then the simple command, which is usually in a foreign language given by the officer to the canine, should be, the dog should release and just go to what's called an on-guard position, and the dog would just wait for a sign of aggression, and then it
Oh,
will.
and I know that. I'm
Yeah.
talking about, cause once you release your dog,
Mhm.
they normally have another, but you probably have backup from the county if you're
We would
releasing the
probably-
dog
Most likely
anyway.
if the dog's being
But
deployed.
my question is they normally have the suspect cuffed before they release the dog, so the suspect doesn't flee again, if that makes sense. So I'm
No,
just
yeah,
asking if he
that-
puts that in the
I'm just
training.
saying, like, if I would release the dog, you know, on an aggressive suspect that needs to be arrested, the dog is gonna take the suspect down.
Right,
The dog is gonna stay on the suspect until I either tell him not, or tell her in this case not to, or until I'm up there, you know, and physically remove the dog. But that's really not allowed in the state tests. You have to tell the dog, and the dog has to listen.
yeah,
Even if it's a turmoil,
right.
the dog has to be able to overcome gunshots and stuff, like not overcome getting shot, the sound and all the distractions. It's like focus is a main component of the testing. So, but if we had the luxury of having two officers, absolutely. I would say in most cases, it's probably gonna be one of those dynamic things. You make a traffic stop, all of a sudden it goes to crap, and then you call for help, but they're 10 minutes away. And so it's just you and the dog and the bad guy. So,
Just call Casey.
yeah,
Yeah,
I mean, whatever.
Do you have a timeline on
really
that,
not
if we go that way?
He says, probably less than 60 days. Yep, less than 6. I was impressed by that too. I thought this would be like a 6 month, like a
I
year
did too.
kind of thing. He's like, oh no,
I like it.
the dogs,
yeah, I do too.
the dogs will pick it up. And with the tracking, she's done 3 tracks. One was track as long as this table, one was a track as long as this room, and then one was a couple of village blocks. So we've done 3 tracks, and she picked it up instantly each time. She said, so tomorrow, when I take her out there, we're gonna do halfway across town and see what she does and go across grass, hard surface, woods, you know, through the different terrain and stuff like that, 'cause they're only tested on grass. It's a lot harder for them to follow a scent on the hard surfaces like the pavement or whatever. So they didn't test them on that, but he wants to see, okay, real world, can she do it, you know, and so we're gonna find that out, but he says, looks like, you know, if we have a K through 12, she's already 6th grade level, and it's a 3rd track, so.
And has he had her do sniff, like for drugs yet, or no?
Yeah, and that's going good too. She had a puppy day yesterday, when I took her down, where she was just like, just wanting to play and just did not wanna really get with the program, but you can tell that she knows the odor, and it's very fascinating how the training works. It's all psychological or whatever, or like, have you ever heard of Pavlov's dogs or whatever, and like, that's what it is. And so, all the dog cares about is, what do I have to do, what trick do you need me to do to get the reward at the end? And the reward at the end is nothing more than praise and a ball or praise and whatever, but they'll do whatever you want just to get that. And it's amazing, I didn't really realize that dogs are like that dependent on, they'll do it, whatever you want them to do. It's like, here, this is what you do, you smell this, and the ball will shoot out of the tote, you know, if you alert to it. If you sit down and point to this, then boom, and then and then they compound on that. And then like if they just learn heroin, they'll put coke with it, and they'll take the heroin away, and you know, all this, it's like a progression.
Yeah.
So, it's interesting to me too, I mean, and honestly, I would have never, it's one of those things I would have never pictured doing, but it just seems like, why not? You know, with me owning it, and the town probably would benefit from it, because we know that there's drugs in town, so there's drugs everywhere.
Yeah.
You know, and if we can put a little visual deterrent out there by having a car around and say, canine, oh, Pleasantville's got a canine now. I mean, they're going to, you know, go up 37 or 158.
Well, and once she gets something too, then that's word of mouth too.
Right, and, you know, the criminals talk, and they talk quick, you know, they learn something, so, but, any other canine questions real quick?
I'm on board.
Blaze through the
I think it's a great idea.
I do too.
I think my big question for council is, when there's a cost, there's a minimal cost of what it could cost us. But obviously, the cage unit for the back of the SUV, we would have to upgrade that, which again, for the investment that we're getting, it's not that much. And knowing Nick and his team, they're gonna find the best deal possible for that. With that also being said, like, once we do that, that canine's attached to him, we now have a canine unit. I think it's also beneficial that we allow him to drive that vehicle home at that point then too, because that way whenever we need him, or I think we should have mutual aid agreements,
I do too.
you know, because again, it's useful for everyone, and that way he has the opportunity not have to drive clear to Pleasantville if Lithopolis needs the canine.
Well, and truthfully, if we're mutual aid in Lithopolis, we're mutual aid in the county, we're
Yeah.
mutual aid, then it helps us here.
Yes.
Because it's all the way around us.
Yes,
Does that bring in revenue, mutual aid runs?
no,
Okay.
no, it's because we want we want mutual aid when we need it, so it's a partnership, it's like the fire department,
Okay.
you know, it just, we gotta make sure we have someone has our back when we're out there.
Would you be able to have like a list of, say she was ready tomorrow, and like, you need a cage, you need this, you need that, you know, how much is this, would you be able to have like a cost list so we can start planning?
Yeah, I think so, I mean, I think we've found,
We could probably look for donations for a canine cruiser,
yeah, I mean,
with a 50/50 partition.
Yeah, well, and I was wondering too, I know sometimes community-wise you can do donations too, like I would be on board with helping, you know, figure out that too for ongoing costs even.
yeah. I mean, we could definitely explore whatever we wanna do, and, do you guys have like public safety committee meeting, or?
But we don't have a public safety falls under records and rule and law, I think is where public
Isn't
safety
that
falls.
neat?
Yeah. But I think that's where it falls. I'll have to double check, Corey.
We actually did.
Sounds like I,
Oh, no, it's
yeah,
Safety
working
ser-
our
Oh,
way up.
yeah, I'm sorry, it's Bob, it's safety service. That's where it goes. I knew it was under someone, and I'm like, records and law
Wait
just
a
seem,
minute, I might be on that committee.
yeah.
Am I?
Yes.
I think it's Bob and Bill.
Okay, well, I mean, what, I didn't know, if that's how you guys roll here or not.
Yeah, that's good.
When it comes to that kind of stuff, it's informal. We're trying to get to that point to where we use our committees a little bit more, but we're not there
So
yet.
it'd be the SUV that you would use.
But most likely, because if you, everything that we found so far, the Dodge Chargers, the back is so small to begin with.
Yeah.
The problem I think that we would face if we use the Charger is that there would be no prisoner compartment, it would just
Right.
be canine.
Right.
And then usually, I don't arrest people unless they need arresting, or unless the law says it. You know, so it's like they have strayed way outside of, and then they need to go to jail to calm down or whatever, or the law requires it, one or the other. There's lots of things we can take people to jail just because the law says you can. You know, misdemeanor 4 and up, you can go to jail, no matter what. Even if it's stupid, you can take them to jail. I usually make them earn it, you know? But if they're earning the right to jail, then they're probably not cooperating. And I don't know that we want to put them in the front with the computer and
Right.
all this
And
other
the
stuff.
person?
Yeah, I mean, that too, but,
You need a split cage in the
Yeah.
back.
Yeah, yeah.
Well-
Partition.
Yeah,
and that's only available that I've seen in the SUV
yeah.
models, because it's bigger. And what they actually do for the dog is the cage actually goes back into the utility area. That's what makes it bigger. So like the seats or whatever get either taken out or folded down, and then one seat remains for the prisoner, and then the other 2/3 of the back is an enclosure for the canine, but that actually takes up some of the utility space in the back.
Yeah.
So, which is fine, but.
So have you gotten any costs on that yet, or no?
Oh, it's gonna be, if you buy a new one, it's starting at 3,000 up to 7,000, depending upon brand and vehicle model and all that stuff, but,
Right.
we would want to look for the split, so you have a prisoner compartment.
Right.
And the problem with the car, the SUV is the current model, so there's not a whole lot like used inventory out there at all that I've seen. Now, if we had the older body style Explorer, 2019 to 2016, or one before that, you can start to get into used, and it's a lot cheaper.
Right.
But another alternative is we could look for a used patrol car that already has it in it. So like if you're gonna spend, let's say, $5,000 on a cage, would it be good to spend $5,000 on a cage, or would it be good to spend $10,000 on a car that's got 75,000 miles on it with all the other trinkets on it, and you get the cage with it? I mean, at that point, that's a conversation to have with the finance committee or whatever, because that may be the way to go, because you get a whole car for a little bit more, and then, it's beneficial all the way around, but it's really a you decision, because, you guys gotta control the money, so however you wanna do it. I know this year is, nobody knows, because it's the first time doing it, and
Right.
all that, and so, that's why I just went ahead and paid for the canine training, because even if you would say no, I think the tracking's valuable for the company, for the fire department, even if we never use it, it's good on a website, it looks good in the public eye, that kind of thing. So, the training I already paid for, and have started that. I just wanna make sure you're good with the program, and then the cost would be the cage, finding that. But that's a pretty small price to pay to have a canine unit, because if you've done the research, you're gonna get 20,000 and up just to get started, so. All right, well, so the rest of this, state compliance, I'm not gonna bore you with all that, but we're ready to go on our way to being like, the in-car computer thing is, they are dragging their feet on that. That is a leads issue. So I'm wearing them out about a couple times a week. Don't know what the big holdup is on that, I really don't, but they're going slow. And then I'll have to follow back up with this LISO 1033 program, that's a federal surplus program. Military equipment, and the military is basically they buy everything. They buy uniforms, they buy fire hydrants, they buy everything, vehicles, and all of that is surplus. They shut a base down or whatever, then they redistribute this stuff. This is a free program. We could go through where Jason works over in Whitehall, DSCC, once it's in there that cycle, which is a 2-week cycle, we can go back next week and do it again, and anything that you get after a year becomes your property. I mean, it's yours to use in the meantime, but after a year, it's yours, and you can sell it if you want to or whatever. But we are still waiting on, I don't know what's taking so long on that program, it's never taken that long before in any other agency that I've done. I think it's because we're new, because they didn't have, they tried Googling us and they couldn't, and that was the big hang up. So, what else? Most of the uniform stuff's in, we're still waiting on a shoulder patch artwork. I don't know really what's taking so long on that. That's been, since you guys enacted the ordinance to start the police department, we placed the order that night. Don't have anything on that, and we've been following up repeatedly on that, so.
Well, they wanted a letter statement that was okay for them to use the,
Well, yeah, they waited like 45 days to ask the
yes,
question too.
yes, they thought we were stealing the seal.
They thought that this image was copyrighted and that we had to have it released from the mayor. Like, we're the village police department, How can you steal or misuse the town logo if you're the village police department? We're putting them on our patch. We need something from the mayor or whatever, so I think we had to do that, right?
Yeah, I sent an email authorizing you have full authority to use whatever we have, image-wise.
So, like, whatever. I think that's a stall tactic for, well, we forgot about this order and we should have a reason, but I think that's basically it. If you have any questions or complaints or.
No complaints. I mean, I get nothing but compliments, to be honest. I mean, and people that live in town, outside of town, the word spreading. Like, my question now, when I go places like, oh, I heard you got a police department, like, good, I'm glad you guys got it.
Talking point, yeah.
So, the one thing that, the ballistic vests, we did apply for a grant for that.
Yeah.
So it's a reimbursement grant, 75% if I remember right. So
I believe so, yeah.
the quote that we got, it's about 10 grand for 6 vests. And if we get approved, we'll order those, and it's 75% reimbursement.
How long will it take to get your door and divider? Like, if we say, yes, we're a go, how long will it take you to order it and get it in?
4 to 6 weeks.
4 to 6 weeks? Okay, so about
Yeah.
a month and a half or so. Okay.
Yeah. I didn't think it'd be too long. I think they have those probably palletized, ready to go or whatever, somewhere. You just gotta order it, because that's the common, everybody runs Explorers, so. Yeah, I'm sure that's on their shelf.
Okay, any other questions for Chief Garver? Thanks.
Yep.
Move on to old business. I have nothing for old business. Anyone else? If not, we'll move to new. So under new business, we kind of discussed this a little bit earlier outside of the meeting, at finance, but as most of you are aware, a lot of us villages, we share assets, so we don't have to buy, all of us don't have to have the same piece of equipment that we only use a couple times a year. One of those pieces of equipment is with Bremen, and it's the bucket truck, and we actually use their bucket truck more than they use it, and we use it for replacing flags, hanging up Christmas decorations, lights in the tall places, inside the building or on the exterior parts of buildings. We use it for our filter cleaning out of the water plant versus trying to jimmy up those rickety ladders and stuff like that. So we do use it a lot. The last time we used it, we were taking it back to Bremen, the transmission went out of it. So Bremen sent off and had it repaired at Unlimited Diesel, which is one of our vendors that we use. And the total bill on that came to $5,501.51. I told Village of Bremen I'll bring it to council for approval to pay half of that, because again, half of that is $27.50.76, and it's cheaper than renting the truck if we need, as much as we use it and to buy the truck. It is an older truck, but for what both villages need, it's perfect. So do I hear a motion to approve an expenditure to Unlimited Diesel Performance for the total cost of $2,750.76?
Motion.
I'll second.
Nate made the motion, Michelle second, roll call.
President Jamal,
Yes.
Councilman Mason, Councilman Pangborn,
Yes.
Councilman Harrier,
Yes.
Councilman Coleman,
Yes.
Councilman Morton. Yes.
All right, thanks. I will have to get a new quote because Unlimited wants us to send them a check directly. So I shouldn't say quote, the work's done. I'll get a separate invoice from Bremen for our half, and their invoice directly to them.
To Bremen?
No, to Unlimited Diesel. since they're already a vendor of ours.
Okay,
And that will save both villages the headache of sending money back and forth.
okay.
All right. And then Casey will slowly take that out of your check.
No more hot rodding.
All right. Resolution 282401, everyone has a copy of that in their packet, and that is to increase the appropriations under the tree fund maintenance for $10,350. And again, that's for the expenditure you had approved to replace the heaters in the garage here. Do I hear a motion to approve that resolution? Nate made the resolution, or made the motion. Bill second. Roll call.
President Hall?
Yes.
Councilman Mason?
Yes.
Councilman Pangborn?
Yes.
Councilman Harrier?
Yes.
Councilman Coleman?
Yes.
Councilman Wharton?
Yes.
All right, thanks. I have a couple of things that's not on your agenda. So, the Walnut Street Water Tower had a repeater for the internet for Row Industries. That was something that the prior administration allowed, but there was no lease agreement. When we started doing the repairs, we thought it was inoperable because actually the guy who owned it originally passed away, and there was never any known owner of the company. The company reached out to us because, of course, we shut off power to it, and we disconnected service to their customers around the area. They reached back out, want to know if we can do a lease agreement. I checked around, we can do it based on what he has on there. Actually, Village of Thornville has a lease with them. I believe Village of Rushville has on their tower, and Pleasantville's kind of like that connecting between those two. For payment, what would happen is he would provide us with free internet service for village-owned properties where it can meet, meaning basically if he has a signal that can get there, and he would install the equipment and all that would be free to us. Now, that right there would save us a significant amount of money. Basically, all of our spectrum bills would go away, and we would get the high speed like what we're getting now. I talked to our solicitor, he's drafted up the agreement. I have that for review, I just got that back this morning. But once we get that, I would like to go ahead and that. Are you guys okay with that type of lease? Before I can sign the lease, I have to draft the resolution and bring back, but before we actually do that final lease, I'll make sure I get your input and there's no questions when I bring it. So again, it'll save us money just to put it on the tower. It was there before. So, and to be honest, I thought it wasn't the best quality when it first started, because he did give the village some free internet, but it wouldn't work for us, and that's why we had to go to Spectrum. Because they didn't have high speed. He didn't have high speed back then. They do have that type of capability now, and a lot of the large farmers around here, like Rolls and things like that, they're using it on all their farms. So obviously, it's a good product. So I don't see that we have any problems, and he's actually willing to give us internet in places we don't have, like at the pool, for free hotspot. So when people go to the pool or the community center, there's a hotspot, hopefully, as long as we get a signal down there, type thing. So I think it's gonna be beneficial to the village as a whole. All right. Mark's radios for the police department. So as Nick has in his report, we're using Madison Township's radios currently out of Licking County. Sorry, I had to reboot my computer and everything disappeared on me. Those radios are only good for about the next year because the update that's going to be done. There really is no grant money for police departments for these type of radios, type of thing. So they've been working with getting some cost, and the one that I'm going to present to you is Motorola. Motorola is the Cadillac of this, so it's like the high end. However, they have some opportunities if we buy from them. So I just want to get your guys' input and approval on a way forward. So for what we need today, and I'm not going to go through the list of all the different repeaters, radios, and all that stuff, but it's about $30,000 in radios that we need today. And again, Motorola, Cadillac. They have a couple different programs. They have a financing program where they can break that out into payments over multiple years at a low interest rate. That way we can budget for this. And one of them is a 7-year option lease term that is about $5,000 a year, $5,600 would be our lease payment. Option 3 would be 5 years, which would be $7,300, and then 4 years, $8,000, and 3 years, $11,000. But after you purchase, if I'm explaining this wrong, please, correct me. After you purchase, you're allowed then to apply for a grant through them, and there's a possibility that they'll pay a chunk of this through their grant. But you can't apply for the grant unless you actually make the purchase, and am I saying that correctly?
Were you, privy to that conversation, because I think I was probably doing a couple or something.
So on the
I
motor,
would have way more information than Chief Carver would have on this.
Okay.
Because he kind of assigned it to me, so.
Okay.
If I may.
no, please.
So these are for Motorola's, as he said, Motorola is the biggest brand name there is, and this is for their cheap versions of their radios. It's the basic radio that would suit the village's needs, 100%, but it doesn't have all the flashy features and things that the bigger agencies would have, which is, it's not necessary. Also, the first payment's not due until a year after you receive them, so that's something else to take into consideration. They work with a company called Lexipol. I have been working on this, I was blessed to handle this. I've been assigned a Lexipol agent, been working through the quote processes and all that other stuff. I just got those back, so now I reached out to the Lexipol person, and they're supposed to be setting up a meeting with me at the first of the week, so then we can kind of go over the grants and the things like that. The biggest problem with these radios, if you ordered them today, they're 20 weeks away. Then you have to wait until they can get them programmed. Fortunately, there's a Motorola rep and installer in Columbus, and Motorola's telling me they can get them done faster. I don't know if that's true or not, because he fights with Marks almost every day. So, and that's one of his favorite topics. Anyway.
That's why I was late coming in, I was talking to Marks.
So, I don't wanna give you any false sense of hopes that grants are gonna come and they're gonna happen and they're gonna do that, but they take care of it for you. They request the information for us, we give it to Lexipol, and then they take care of that part of getting the grants. There are grants for these radios. They will not be awarded until September of this year. The date to get everything in for them is March 23rd, I believe. I don't have my notes in front of me, so please forgive me, I'm not trying to tell them this truth. March-ish, mid-March, how's that sound? But again, the biggest thing is if they're 20 weeks out, and I asked her, I said, was that just like, an exaggerated number because of, stock and thought? She's like, no, it will be 20 weeks from the day you order them, so. But I just want you to understand that there's no guarantee that grants would be given and stuff like
So
that.
the
Yes.
longevity, like when I'm hearing they've got the finance plan for 7 years.
They're
I mean,
guaranteed
do
for
those-
like 10 years.
Okay, that's what I was
And I
wondering.
don't believe Mark's just done their newest,
Yeah, so the reason we're.
he can take over now, I don't know none of this stuff.
We don't think there's much more changes to the system on the horizon, because the reason that the radios, the Madison Township is like lending, those will all be kicked off the system next year. So there are fire grants out for them, and we have been chipping away at our ice block for the last 5 years, getting rid of all the old radios, a quantity at a time for these little grants that we got. And we're pretty much done with that now. So these radios are surplus to us, they still work, so we're lending them here, but their clock is ticking. So we got at least a year, maybe a year and a half. There's a controversy whether it's April or July, that they're gonna throw the switch on digital security for the system. And basically, it's a whole bunch of BS. But anyway, it's security, so people don't cyber break into the radios and take over the radio system and whatever. So that's what the security stuff is about. So these old radios don't have that capability. They're kicking them all off the system across the board statewide next year. The Motorola, since that's a brand new thing, we think that, I'll tell you, a Motorola radio is a quality radio. That's what I'm wearing right now. This is probably 10 years old. Physically, they will last. They are a good product, but they know they're a good product, and think a 10-year is probably at the high end of what you should expect longevity-wise out of the radios when you purchase them based on experience. Now that we're in this digital world.
Do we think we'll get the technology for 10 years, or will we? I'm my finance brain, so if we're paying on these for 7 years, do we think,
That they're gonna last at least.
well, I know last, you know, drop them, break them, whatever, I'm talking about like technology.
Is there a cost to upgrade technology?
There is not, as part of this is an update, so they do classes and things like that. The problem is the technology has outgrown these radios.
Right,
So
yeah.
these are kind of some, I'm gonna date myself here, but please forgive me. Xbox is coming out with a new Xbox this year, to get rid of the day one Xbox that came out 10 years ago. There's nothing wrong with it, it just can't keep up with the new technology. But they overbuilt the new Xbox One to keep up with everything in this time. So the way she explained it to me, this radio is overbuilt with bigger processors and everything else that we need to maintain that level, to continue to grow, given extra space and everything and embedded needs. They don't foresee, because Mark's is a very popular radio system with all the manufacturers, they're as soon as you say the word Mark's, they go. So they're overbuilding their equipment to accept all these new updates and stuff. And I don't think Mark's updates but every 5 to 7 years.
Probably, yeah.
So they assumed, she told me no issues whatsoever, 10 plus years, was her exact words, 10 plus years. Now, take that for what it's worth, so.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think that if we get a grant, it'd be great, but I don't think we should anticipate it.
Yeah, that's the reason why I want to bring it up, because one, it's a 20-week delivery. And two, like, worst case scenario, we had to buy it, and then what type of, we would have to finance it.
And would it be three whole, I mean, I don't need to know like 3 processors, is it 3 systems? Like one for each vehicle and then
They're, that, and then plus the body.
the body
Yeah,
stuff? Yeah.
so,
I think we were asking for what,
2 mobiles and 4 portables.
what was it, 3 and 3?
3 and 3, I'm sorry. He is correct.
I think we were anticipating a third car, and if we don't have the third car, then we would just put that radio in the station.
Right.
But I think we're asking for 3 mobiles, which is the bigger, stronger ones in the cars, and then 3 portables, like I'm wearing now. And then I can't really see us having more than 3 officers on one time, you know, unless it's at a meeting or something like that, in which case, you know, we'll figure it out, yeah. But, yeah, and it's a Motorola grant, so that's why it's Motorola specific.
Right.
So,
But they use a vendor called Lexipol to handle it.
Yeah.
Right.
so they can be impartial in their awards or whatever.
Right. Well, I think we have to have the equipment, so,
yeah,
I mean,
yep, okay. I mean, there's more to come on that, but I mean, I think, giving you guys worst case scenario, are you guys comfortable with it? That way we know, like, if we need to pull that trigger tomorrow, we know we have the support.
yeah.
Yeah, and I think it's good we get to make a payment a year from now, because
Yeah.
if we're using those for the year, then it gets time to get those ordered and,
If there's a delay in setting things up with the Motorola guy going on vacation or has
right.
appendix surgery or something.
Yes.
going on.
The payment is not due until they are programmed up and running.
Mhm.
It's a year after that date.
Oh.
Oh,
Mhm.
wow, okay, so even, yeah.
All right, I don't think we need a vote on that, just ideally, just make sure that you guys are aware of where we're gonna go with that. One thing else, while we're talking about, police department, is I did register, and I'm just waiting confirmation with, State of Ohio Department of Administrative Services, DAS. And, Chief Garber was talking about the 1033 program. This is like the state's version of that same thing, so it's state surplus. So once we get, access to that, like, they do mostly desks and stuff like that, but again, it's just another source to go get something. I did see they have a controller for that car on their list, and for the internal list, not on the auction site. Just heads up on that.
Okay.
I shouldn't say for that car, but it said it was for 2019, so I'm assuming it's all the same.
Probably came out of one.
Yeah. And a lot of that stuff, when I was reading, like when it goes to auction for public, there's a fee, like you actually bid on it. But for like a lot of the little stuff, like office furniture for that controller, it had a 0 charge beside of it, meaning I don't think there's gonna be a fee. But if we don't get like a free cruiser from the, State Patrol, where it goes next is into that system, and you can pick up a cruiser for $2,000 to $5,000 for what we got sitting out there. So again, there's all kinds of opportunities, sometimes with fees, sometimes, free of charge. So there'll be something else that we can use to save money and get the inventory that we need. Last thing I have on new business, we kind of did this last month, but Penny and I had an epiphany. And when we have epiphanies together, watch out. So, as you all are aware, we took out the loan of $800 and some thousand to refurbish both towers. And then the county is going to reimburse us for that, and that's kind of what's gonna pay the loan, right? Because in the end, the county's paying for that. They do allow us to do segments. We don't have to go ask for all the money at the end. So, and we paid out a little over $456,000 so far to date on both towers, and they're halfway finished. We were going to submit the payment request for that reimbursement, bring that money in, and then turn around and put that same money into a CD, because again, CDs are up right now at 5%. I talked to our bank, they will allow us to do a 5-month CD versus a 6-month, like we talked about last time on this dollar amount, making that payable back to us a month before we actually have to make the payment for the $800 and some thousand. So we're using our loan money to earn money, and we'll actually earn more than what the interest is that we're gonna be charged on it. So I think it's about $20,000 that we possibly.
22.5.
Yeah, is roughly about what we'll earn on that. We're submitting the paperwork this week. We have to have in our minutes to be able to submit to the bank the motion and the approval to place $450,000.
Wait,
in-
hold on, say that slow, please.
Okay. To place
I'm gonna
$450,000
hang on here, $450,000
in a 5-month CD
CD
at 5%
at 5%
at the Bremen Bank.
Okay.
All right. And any questions on that? If not, do I hear a motion to approve? Bill made the motion.
Bill,
I'll second it.
Bob second.
that's not Bill.
Roll call.
Bob. So, President Zumwalt?
Yes.
Councilman Mason?
Yes.
Councilman Pingmore?
Yes.
Councilman Harrier?
Yes.
Councilman Coleman?
Yes.
Councilman Morton?
Yes.
Councilwoman, excuse me, I'm so sorry, sir. It's okay.
All right. That's all I have for new business. Anyone else have new business? If not, we will go around the table. So Sarah, I mean, since you're new, this is just, you always have time to speak up through all this meeting. Like, we do try to do this very informally, just as long as we're not over talking one another, stuff like that. But this is kind of where we just go around things that you want to make sure everyone's aware of. You may know something that's going on, like if you're a member of a church and they're having a fish fry or something like that. And it's just kind of that type of informal, just getting stuff out there. So we do that every month. So we'll start with you, welcome to our team, and do you have anything?
No.
Okay. All right, Nate?
Yeah, I just wanna clarify, are you going to get us together numbers on what a cage will cost? That's something you guys are gonna be working now, right?
Yeah.
Okay. That's all I have.
All right. Corey?
Not for me.
All right, Michelle? Bill? Bob?
I ain't a member of the church and we are having a fish fry.
I was hoping that it's
And it is really good.
every Friday.
Every Friday for 6 weeks.
Yes.
It's after Valentine's Day. This
Yeah.
I was gonna say the 16th
Friday
is the
night
first one,
after
isn't it?
Valentine's Day. So it's like the 16th. Yes.
4:30 to 7.
Yeah.
What kind of fish is
And
this?
what
Drive-through.
church is
It's,
It's Thurston United Methodist
Is
Church.
it cod?
It is cod.
it's cod.
Yeah, it is good, if you like
And it's
that.
very good.
I love fish
And they
fries.
serve scalloped potatoes, or mashed
Or
potatoes,
french
or
fries.
scalloped potatoes.
Yeah.
It's scalloped or french
Scalloped
fries.
potatoes, french
It's
fries.
scalloped potatoes.
Or french fries.
Green beans.
Oh, is it
baked
both?
beans.
Is what it says on
Oh.
the sheet.
Okay.
It's really good.
Yep.
So you said it's a
A
drive-through?
roll,
It's a
dessert,
drive-through. You drive through and the kids come out and tell them what you want and they go in and get it for you.
Yep.
and you give the kids a little tip and they're happy.
Right.
Yep.
Didn't know about it.
Yep. And then you guys also have, you have the sub sale going on this week, right?
Yeah, the sub sale, I brought Casey subs tonight and then Saturday they'll do them again.
Yeah. So they do this every year at the Methodist Church. and it's their
$6 a sub,
fundraisers.
they're
Is
good
it the-
too.
Is it in, it's in Thurston, right?
Yep.
Is
Yes.
is it the brick building, or is it the one on the other side?
No, it's in white.
The other one.
White one.
Looks like it has a garage in the parking lot.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's that one.
it's on that side of the street.
That's a
Yeah.
UMC, isn't it?
A what?
Is it UMC?
Mhm.
Yeah,
It
Yes.
is?
well, not anymore.
Well, yeah, I was gonna say,
Well, okay,
It's just the
never mind.
Methodist church now.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
um,
Yeah, they.
I got you.
All right. Penny, you have
The only
anything?
thing I have is, we did send our AEDs out to get,
We just got those back and they're in the cruisers.
oh, well, see, there you go, I didn't even know they were back.
Yeah, and
So
just,
they'll be sending me an invoice. Did you get them, Bob? Oh, I have them sent to you.
I grabbed the other AED
Honest to God.
and I put it in the trunk of
Oh,
the
I don't
charger.
look at it.
So
paper
both
box?
cruisers have them in for right now.
Okay. All right. And if, do we need to order pads for those?
No. No, they
They're
have,
good?
yeah,
Okay, I didn't know whether they would do that or not.
yeah, they
So they'll
refresh
be
all that.
sending, it. They did that quick.
Yeah.
I just mailed them Saturday.
Make sure they work, we're gonna test them out on Casey pretty soon.
They do have a test that has to be run periodically.
I was gonna say.
Well, that's what the calibration does. We have to send them out every year and they do all that because it,
Oh,
it
okay.
keeps that for a year to where we don't have to touch it unless it's being
It's
used. Yep.
Or somebody's being bad.
Well,
Oh. No, I didn't say that. Audit, okay, and we're getting ready for an audit soon. We had our audit company reach out and want information, so I sent them the information. I forwarded you an email too, so we'll see what's going on with that. We'll get that taken care of and started.
Yeah.
I told them I didn't want to do it till after March, so.
And since you're new, the president council, the audit goes through you essentially, not through me. So there's not tons, but there's like 3 or 4 emails that probably
Yeah,
get sent your way.
I remember it, I think I got copied on some of the ones from Judd.
Yeah.
'cause I-
Yeah, we usually let the whole finance
Yeah.
committee know, but, the president council is actually who's like in charge of the audit per se, as far as questions and things like that, so.
I'll go back and resend it to you guys so that you can see what information they were requesting and stuff. That way you know what's going on.
All right,
I know this is a miracle, but I don't have anything else.
all right. Sam?
No, I just put on there, I'm doing my sunshine law training in April.
Yep.
So, for the both of you guys. Well,
Thank
can I add,
Oh, yeah, you gotta add, Sarah.
okay,
Unless Sarah wants to go.
unless you wanna do it, it's a virtual webinar, it's super fun.
So there's
What is it?
No, you don't.
so Ohio Sunshine Law, so it's basically, Public Records Act is what it is. And any newly elected or appointed member has to take it within so many months of, or I think it's within a year of becoming elected or appointed. The law states the member has to take it, or they have to make an appointee to take it for them. So the way we always do it, because instead of having 4 people do it, and it's only at certain times, it's not like do it at your convenience, and it's always during the day, a workday type thing. So we always just appoint Sam or Penny to take it. They take it, say I'm here representing these people on this list, and then you guys get your certificate for them attending. So,
I sit at the computer.
and you can Google the Ohio Sunshine Law,
Yeah.
just like that, and it tells you everything. It's-
There's a whole manual, I have a binder,
Yeah.
if you ever get bored and
Yeah.
want to read it for some reason, or even look through it, you're welcome to have it. But I'll just add your name, I'm doing it for Michelle and Nate anyway, so I'll just add your name to there.
Did you already do it for me?
I think Corey's on there too.
Yeah, Corey's on
didn't
the
do
list, because remember
Corey.
we had to talk, we had to add Corey at the last
Isn't it
minute.
for all 4?
Yeah.
I don't get paid enough.
You don't have to take it once. We can add everyone's
We
name in it just as a
appreciate it.
refresh.
listen 4 times as hard.
That's definitely worth the state dinner, not having to take that class, I'd say.
Don't you have,
I would pay for that.
I went on last month and
I'll
researched
take
it,
some
yeah.
wings
back
from
up
my
that.
house.
Terrible class.
Wait, I did it the last time. That ain't fair.
all right, you have anything else, Sam?
No, that's it.
Okay, if there's nothing else, do we hear a motion to adjourn?
Motion.
Nate made the motion, do I hear a second?
Sorry.
Bill, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. And we are done at, there's a glare on there, what time is it?
8:23.
8:23, thanks.
Casey, will you shut that off, please?
So do you want me to attend the
That's where you going.
meeting or not?
I'm going to it.